Yo guys, curious Brit back once again. So today I'm reacting to a video called Foods That Are Banned in Europe but Not in the US. So let's see how bad the US food industries really are and how much sneaky chemicals and shit they're pumping into the food. So if you like what you see, don't forget to smash that thumbs up. Hit subscribe down below so you never miss any future uploads. Without further ado, just jump straight into the reaction.
Just before we get started, some of you might know that I have another channel called Mega Projects, which is all about mega projects. If you don't subscribe to that, please do. Well, by popular demand, I wanted to cover some things on that channel that weren't quite mega enough for it, so I present to you a new channel called Side Projects, which is no longer that new, but hey, here we are. It covers secret Soviet space weapons, World War II's greatest airplanes, history's lost treasures, and the movement of London Bridge from London to a random town in America. Stuff like that. New videos 3 times a week on Side Projects. So if you were thinking you don't get enough videos from me, well, problem solved. There is a link below. The European Union is as suspicious as ever when it comes to foodstuffs containing chemicals, unnatural dyes, and meat treated with synthetic growth hormones. Since 1981, the EU has had stringent rules for the importation of food to its markets, and those rules have only gotten stricter with time. In 1989, it banned as many as 6 growth hormones, launching a trade dispute which has lasted 30 years and counting. In 2003, it permanently banned 1 synthetic growth hormone while provisionally banning 5 others, and a whole host of dyes, chemicals, and preservatives are persona non grata in the EU as well. From hard-shelled candy delights, milk, dyed salmon, and beef and pork treated with all kinds of hormones, here are 10 foods banned in parts of the European Union that are not banned in the United States.
Why would you want to eat food that's been pumped full of hormones and chemicals?
Number 10. Skittles. While not banned in the entire EU...
Skittles?
Skittles are banned in Sweden and Norway for containing yellow dye number 5 and 6.
Oh,
in most
Sweden
parts of
and
the
Norway.
EU, all that's required of the Wrigley Company, a division of Mars Inc., is to include a disclaimer suggesting that the candy could cause adverse health effects and hyperactivity. Still, it's thought that these dyes can cause allergic reactions in some people, and FDA tests have shown that red dye 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6 all contain cancer-causing agents like benzodiazepine and 4-aminobiphentyl, and the levels released in the body could be much higher than the FDA is reporting, thanks to the fact that routine tests tend to find less of these cancer-causing carcinogens than when they actually pass through the colon. Still, we've never heard of anyone in the US being hospitalized after eating Skittles, but maybe that's just what they want you to think. Number 9. rBGH or rBST milk. The main reason cited by the European Union for banning both recombinant bovine growth hormone and its synthetic counterpart, recombinant bovine somatotropin, rBST, officially is due to animal cruelty concerns, but there may be other adverse health effects linked to the use of these hormones. Both rBGH and rBST have been tenuously linked to the developments of certain cancers. In addition to that, the FDA found that further study would have to be conducted to determine the impact these hormones would have on the liver and...
When you think about it, it's quite clever, isn't it? We'll put all this crap in our food that's going to kill the citizens, and then we'll make our healthcare sector private, so everyone's got to pay for their own healthcare, and we can make a fortune on the back end of it in taxes. It's a win-win for the government, isn't it? You can see why they don't want to put no laws into place to eliminate half these chemicals and stuff.
Other organs. But in addition to the potential adverse health effects of rBGH in humans, cattle treated with the growth hormone are more likely to come down with a nasty case of mastitis, inflammatory reaction in the udder tissue caused by infection from microorganisms. As a result of this disease, cattle in the US are treated with antibiotics, eliminating mastitis infections, but potentially causing other problems further down the line. Although the World Health Organization is primarily concerned about the over-reliance and overuse of antibiotics in humans, claiming that this could lead to the evolution of a superbug, 90% of antibiotics consumed aren't taken by humans. They're fed to otherwise healthy animals. And experts warn that this could lead to our livestock essentially becoming superbug factories. As the bacteria they harbor become more and more resistant to antibiotics, it's only a matter of time before these traits get passed on to bacteria that are harmful to humans. Number 8. Papaya, corn, and soy. The genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, used in vegetables and fruit in the US have allegedly been linked linked to some nasty health problems. However, whether this is actually the case, we just don't know. While it is true that the US treats its produce and fruit with GMOs to make them more resistant to different diseases, and this can be largely beneficial, more research does need to be conducted in order to determine which of these is harmful to humans. Unlike the US and the FDA, the EU takes a far more cautious approach when it comes to approving GMOs, meaning that they must pass rigorous tests and environmental monitoring before they are deemed safe for consumption by citizens in their countries. However, even their system is not perfect. Recently, a batch of GMO-treated papaya began circulating through EU-controlled markets. The culprits appear to be farmers in Thailand who mass-produced GMO-treated crops. Number 7. Bread's
Rise of Kingdoms for PC is officially out of beta. Rise of Kingdoms is a
Skip the ad.
containing azodicarbonamide. Azodicarbonamide, ADA for short, is a chemical used to bleach breads in order to increase their shelf life. Recently, companies like Subway, McDonald's, and other fast food restaurants have come under fire for using this chemical. ADA is also the chemical that allows bubbles to form inside foams and plastics like vinyl. The EU banned ADA because of its potential harmful effects on human health. Both potassium bromates, a chemical used in bread that helps it rise in the oven, and ADA have been linked to kidney and thyroid cancers in rats. So if China, Brazil, and the European Union have all banned the use of this chemical in their breads, well, why haven't the US? The fact of the matter is that the FDA just doesn't think it's dangerous. After multiple studies, it's ruled that it's not harmful in humans. The question you have to ask yourself
The
is...
FDA are probably getting a kickback off the fucking medical sector. And they're thinking, the more people we can send to hospital, the more money they're going to pay in medical bills, the more money we make in turn. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like this crafty fucking plan to get people to eat the food, to then get ill and die over the course of periods of time, and then have to fucking go to hospital and pay for all their own medical care themselves. Yeah, I can understand why in the European Union they get half that stuff out the food, because a lot of countries offer free healthcare. Like over here in the UK, we've got the NHS. So, if you're eating shit like this all the time, there'd be too many people in hospitals. It'd be costing the government fortune. It already costs the government enough. So they're minimising the risks on our health to minimise the load on the NHS staff. So it's clever. Whereas in America, it's complete opposite. We're greedy, get as much money as we can. We don't care about people's healths. That's what it's coming across like to me.
Well, which research do you trust more? And why? Number 6. Chlorine Wash Chicken.
Whoa.
Chlorine plays many roles in the industrialized world. It's a powerful tool for cleaning
Chlorine.
water supplies, which otherwise might become contaminated.
It's just about to
and
say
lead to
chlorine's the
development
stuff
of
you put in the
cholera
swimming
when
pool,
ingested, a disease
disinfect
which is
it and that.
extremely fatal if left untreated.
You wash
but it's
chicken,
also
innit?
used to clean other things, like chicken. Chlorine Wash Chicken means just that. Chicken that's been washed with chlorinated water. According to most websites devoted to chicken and all things related to chicken, it's the internet, of course, these websites exist. Chlorine washing is a food safety practice which helps keep harmful bacteria from growing
Yummy.
poultry.
That's
But while
just
the
what I
EU
wanna
doesn't
eat.
think that washing your poultry in chlorinated water will lead to adverse health effects, they do think it's a method of covering up poor hygiene practices. This understandably has made US exporters incredibly angry, as it's a decision not based in scientific evidence, but rather on paranoia. Number 5. Instant mashed potatoes. While the FDA will argue otherwise, the preservatives butylated hydroxyanazole, BHA, and butylated hydroxytoluene found in instant mashed potatoes, and pretty much every single packaged food you buy in the US, have been known to cause some cancers in rats. They're also known to impair blood clotting when consumed in high quantities, among other symptoms like hyperactivity. BHA and BHT are used primarily to prevent foods from excreting oils. This prevents them from going rancid and extends their shelf life. And you can probably guess what the European Union did about this.
We
You
banned
guessed that
them
They outright banned them,
and
then
took them out the
congratulations, you are correct.
food.
The
'Cause
strange thing about the situation
We banned them and took them out the food. Most of the food on here, we still have in the UK. Just not the American version with all the crap in.
is that the FDA admits that BHA and BHT are probably a bit carcinogenic in nature. The FDA certified these food additives as GRAs, generally recognized as safe, but this just means that they're only regarded as safe up until a certain amount is consumed and never underwent pre-market review. Number 4. Mountain Dew. You might be surprised to learn that your favorite lemon lime soda may contain a chemical typically used in a flame retardant, and this is an ingredient that has been banned in over 100 countries.
I was
The
just about
FDA
to say,
tested
so
the
what what ingredient have they taken out for the
found that they
UK?
lacked enough conclusive data on one of its main ingredients, brominated vegetable oil, to decide whether or not it was safe to consume, although it's still labelled as GRAS. Of course, across the pond, it's a different story. Because it competes with iodine for receptor sites in the body, high levels of brominated vegetable oil in humans can lead to thyroid problems, autoimmune diseases, and potentially cancer. In fact, bromine is considered a toxin. Although brominated vegetable oil is still legal in the United States, Pepsi and Coke decided to remove the ingredient from their soft drinks after public backlash. Number 3. Farmed salmon. Eating salmon has all kinds of health benefits, but people consuming anything other than freshwater or organic salmon might be consuming a harmful carcinogen. The European Union has outright banned farm-raised salmon for good reason. So what exactly separates farmed salmon from freshwater salmon? Well, that's the fact that salmon that are raised on farms are typically fed an unnatural diet of grain, antibiotics, and other drugs that leave their meat an unhealthy-looking grey. Propagators of farm-raised salmon use a chemical known as astaxanthin to dye the unhealthy grey away. You're probably guessing astaxanthin has been banned in the EU due to health concerns, and you'd be right. What's more is that freshwater salmon growing up on natural food sources retains a vibrant pink quality. Number 2.
With a cooker tap, you
Ah,
always
it's
have
minging
100
that.
degrees boiling,
Use that many
filtered, chilled and
chemicals.
sparkling water.
Raising
Oh,
a fish. They use that.
US
Put that many chemicals in fish food while raising a fish that their meat isn't even the proper colour, so they've got a... Oh, that is rank. Remind me to own that. What is America? What are you doing?
pork. Pigs in the United States
Sort
typically
it
food
out,
laced
man.
with ractopamine, a growth promotion drug which helps animals remain lean. The drug basically mimics the effects of stress hormones, allowing for the production of more meat while keeping feed consumption relatively low. So what might be the problem with this? Well, the company that produces the drug, Elanco, did their own testing on the drug, and this might be a decent indicator that some corners might have been cut. Shortly after the FDA approved the drug for use in American pork products, farmers began reporting that more and more pigs became non-ambulatory, which is a fancy way of saying that they can't stand or walk. These pigs tend to get treated very poorly in US slaughterhouses, getting trampled and dragged by workers and electrically shocked by cattle prods in a cruel effort to get them moving again. More than 218,000 pigs are recorded as having this condition. The FDA accused Elanco of withholding information. But despite this news, the drug is still allowed in the US. All that's changed is a big old disclaimer listing the drug's side effects. On this one, we can't really blame the EU for banning it. Sometimes being cautious pays off. Number 1. US beef. Much like the EU's reasoning on banning US
just
sourced
let the
milk,
animal
meat sourced
grow
from cattle
up and
raised on
bloody
growth
kill
hormones
it when
can't be
it's
imported to the
ready
European
in a
Union. Believe it or
humane
not,
way,
this
and you
decision
get
has
nice,
resulted in a long-standing trade
proper,
dispute between the
organic
US and the EU,
beef,
lasting 30
none of
years
this
and counting. Unlike milk, however, the ban on
brought
US
up,
beef extends to
abused
6 different
shit.
growth hormones, with estradiol being permanently
You
banned
see why
in 5 others
vegans are,
provisionally.
you see why vegans and vegetarians are so passionate, can't you, in America? The way they treat the fucking animals, yeah? I love a steak, me. But I don't want a steak from a cow that's been fucking on growth hormone treatment, all these fucking hormones, not had a proper diet, not had a proper pasture to run around, not had a quality of life. Yeah, it's still got to have some sort of quality to its life before it's killed, cooked and put on my plate. Yeah?
Bans. This has resulted in US retaliation in the form of tariffs on selected food imports from the EU, an action that the EU has heavily criticised. Not all US beef is banned in the EU, though. Just recently, a deal was reached to allow a certain market share for companies looking to export organic beef, but the tariffs do remain. The US claims that the EU's decision is not based on scientific evidence, and that they're not treating farms that use synthetic growth hormones fairly. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching.
The actual fuck, man. The US is so fucked. The amount of shit they'll just let companies pump into the foods. Wow. That has opened my eyes, because every single food listed on there we have in this country. I can go to the shop now and buy everything he listed. The only difference is 2 or 3 chemicals have usually been taken out before they've been put on the shelves in the UK. Wow. Wow. No wonder that America have a major health crisis on their hands. Like, it could be one of the parts to play with it, as well as the over excessive sizes of meals. Who needs a super sized meal? Yeah, but that's for another video. We can look at another video. Anyway, if you've liked what you've seen, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. It really does help me out. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell notifications so you never miss any future uploads. Until next time, stay safe, take care. I've been Curious Brit. Peace out.